So welcome everyone to the second webinar for Nomo Property Finance. Today we're going to be talking about buying a UK rental property and what you need to know. We've got two very expert guest speakers who are going to be joining us. So we are going to have a fairly packed agenda over the next half an hour, 40 minutes or so. So I'm going to introduce both of them and then we will go through our topics that we've got to discuss today, and then I will talk a little bit at the end about Nomo and who we are and how our property finance can help you purchase a property. So I'm first going to introduce Haifa Israfil. She is the UK desk sales manager for Ion Real Estate. She's got over 10 years experience in helping people buy vacation homes or investment opportunities, and offers exceptional customer service at Ion. I've put her contact details on the screen there if anybody wants to just quickly note them down, but I will hand over to you, Haifa, to introduce Ion.
Thank you, Mike. Good evening, everyone. Thank you for the introduction. Well, Ion Real Estate is a well-known Kuwaiti shareholding company. It was established in 1976 and was registered on the Kuwait Stock Exchange in 2005. The company provides a comprehensive range of real estate development services and investment opportunities in Kuwait and abroad. By adhering to Islamic principles and the highest standards of transparency and governance, the Real Estate Consultancy Department was established in 2021, where we aim to assist the clients in purchasing international properties, whether it's second home or investment opportunity. Currently, we are promoting several projects in major British cities such as London, Birmingham, Manchester, Milton Keynes, Reading, Slough, and others. I'm happy today to share my experience and ideas with you, and I sincerely hope you will find this webinar informative and useful. Thank you, Mike.
Thank you very much. So now I'd like to introduce Simon Cook, who is the Director, Head of International Residential at JLL, Middle East and North Africa. Again, Simon has over 10 years experience helping customers buy new homes and investments, both in London and across the country. Simon, would you like to introduce yourself and JLL?
So thank you for that. So JLL is a leading professional service that specializes in real estate and investment management. JLL prides ourselves on shaping to the future of real estate for a better world, for most advanced technologies to create rewarding opportunities, amazing spaces and sustainable real estate solutions for clients, our people, our communities. JLL is a Fortune 500 company with an annual revenue of 20.9 billion. We operate in 80 countries globally, and we employ 103,000 people. JLL is a well-known brand and a registered trademark of Joan Lang LaSalle Incorporated. Across the Middle East and Africa, JLL is a leading player in the real estate and hospitality services. The firm, we've worked with 35 countries across the region and employs over 1,650 internationally qualified professionals across Dubai, Abu Dhabi, Riyadh, Jeddah, Al Kubra, Cairo, Casablanca, Johannesburg, and Nairobi.
Well, my first question and the first topic to discuss, and I think this one is for you, Haifa. So why is the UK rental property market appealing to investors?
Thank you, Mike. Well, historically, the rental property market was attractive for several reasons, and it showed steady growth and resilience. And the first key factor is the strong rental demand for properties due to factors like population growth, increasing urbanization, and mobility in the job market. This demand provides a consistent stream of potential tenants, offering rental income stability. The second factor is the capital appreciation, where it showed that consistent appreciation over time. Although the past performance doesn't guarantee future results, however, this trend has been appealing to long-term investors seeking potential capital gains. Going on to the third key factor is the legal framework which UK offers. It's a well-established legal framework for property ownership and tenancy, which provides investors with a greater security and protection for their rights. Then we have the economic stability, which UK is famous for, and which with a diverse range of industries, making it unresponsive to extreme economic fluctuations compared to some other markets. Don't have to forget the cultural attractions, like cities like London offer a blend of culture, education, and business opportunities, which makes them attractive to both local and international tenants.
Great, thank you very much. And so, Simon, could you tell us about the types of tenants that you can have, please?
Yeah, absolutely. So in the UK rental market, investors can attract three types of rental prospects. So you either your families, your professionals, or your students. Families obviously seek for a stable and spacious accommodation with multiple bedrooms in areas with a good catchment area for all the schooling and universities. Professionals, however, young professionals and individuals in the workforce generally seek well-located properties close to transportation and amenities. Students, university towns attract a significant amount of student population each year, creating a demand for smaller and more affordable accommodation.
Thank you, Simon. And so, just moving on to then from the type of tenants into where investors buy. Haifa, can you tell us where investors buy rental properties and why?
Sure, Mike. Look, from a personal perspective, I think every asset in UK can be rented out and can be a good investment opportunity wherever you buy. But investors often consider specific areas for rental property purchases based on various factors, such as university towns, city hubs, and good school areas. University towns, which attract a steady stream of student tenants, making it a lucrative investment opportunity. Like properties close to campuses or with easy access to public transport tend to be popular choices for investors. City hubs and built-to-rent properties often attract professionals seeking convenient access to work, amenities, and entertainment options. Like purpose-built rental properties in these areas offer modern and high-quality living spaces, which attract more tenants. We have good school areas, like in properties in catchment areas of highly rated free schools, private schools, or grammar schools are desirable to families seeking quality education for their children. To you, Mike.
Great, thank you very much. And so we probably hear lots of talk about rental properties in relation to, we'll talk a lot about rental yield. So Simon, could you tell us what rental yield is?
Yeah, absolutely. Rental yield is used to calculate the profit that you'd be getting on an annual basis. Now, rental yield is a critical metric that uses to assess the income generated potential of a rental property. It is calculated by dividing the annual rental you receive and the total value of your property. So, for instance, if your property generates 15,000 in annual rental and the property is 300,000, you'd have a yield of 5%. So the calculation, simply put, would be 15,000 divided by 300,000 times 100. Rental yield is different from city to city within the UK. There is also a massive divide between the north of England and the south of England. This is down to the difference in price, house prices. So in the north of England, predominantly, house prices are much cheaper than they are in the south. So you tend to see a much higher yield coming from the north of England rather than the south of England.
Great, thank you, Simon. Let's clear that up. And so, Haifa, can you tell us what the difference is between leasehold and freehold for people looking to buy a property in the UK?
Yes, sure. Leasehold and freehold are both types of property ownership in the UK. And actually, we have a third one called common hold. Leasehold is where the buyer owns the property for a fixed period, typically between 99 to 1 to 5 years to 999 years, which is common now with the new build properties we are promoting. Leasehold owners, they don't own the land on which the property is built. So it's usually only the property itself, not the land. So, and the leaseholders usually pay service charge for the maintenance of communal areas. In addition, on leases signed prior to June 22, leaseholders had to pay ground rent to the freeholder, who is the landowner. This has changed now with the Leasehold Reform Act, which affected most new leases signed after 2022, with some exceptions, of course, making the ground rent equivalent to an annual rent of 1 peppercorn, which is effectively zero. However, the freehold, with the freehold ownership, the buyer owns both the property and the land it sits on indefinitely. There are no ground rent or service charges, giving the owner a greater control and independence. There is also the share of a freehold, which is common also in UK, which enables a flat owner to have a title that is as good as a freeholder. The choice between leasehold and freehold depends on individual preferences and circumstances. Although freehold properties offer a great control and autonomy, leasehold properties may come with additional costs and restrictions, but it can still be an attractive investment opportunities.
Thank you very much. Yeah, there are pros and cons to both options, isn't there? So, so what cost should somebody consider when they're buying a UK rental property?
Sure. So obviously you've got your maintenance costs, your property management, your taxes, unfortunately, and your legal and surveyor costs. So property maintenance costs are essential to ensuring the property remains in good condition and attracts lucrative tenants. Regular repairs, upkeep, and occasional renovation should be a factor in your financial planning on the years to come when you own the property. Property management, engaging professional property management service, such as the likes of JLL, can alleviate the burden on a day-to-day management task, such as ensuring efficient tenancy management, rent collection, that's very important, and also property maintenance. Unfortunately, in the UK, we are subject to taxes. Investors need to be aware of the applicable taxes if owning a property, such as income tax on your rental income that you receive, stamp duty land tax, SDLT for short, on the purchase of the property, and the potential capital gains, the CGT, upon the property sale. We all advise you on this panel to consult with a tax advisor with all tax related questions relevant to property purchases. Legal and surveyor costs. Engaging in lawyers for the conveyancing process and conducting all the surveys are essential step for a safe purchase of a property in the UK. And fees will be, and you have to consider all fees that do vary from lawyer firm to lawyer firm.
Okay, thank you, Simon. So what is property management?
Yeah, actually property management is involving with various aspects of rental property. Including tenant management, which is tenant sourcing, property inspections, rent collection, handling maintenance requests, and compliance with legal obligations and addressing legal and regulatory requirements. Well, Ayan Real Estate has maintained good relationships with well-known property management companies, including JLL, to ensure the seamless operation and landlord satisfaction.
Great, thank you very much.
Thank you.
And so, property financing for rental property versus residential property, how are those different?
Sure, so they do different. So deposit requirements, lenders will require a higher deposit level for a rental property rather than a residential property, typically around about 25% of the property value for a rental property. Profit rates / interest rates for rental property financing may be slightly higher compared to residential properties, reflecting in higher risk associated with the rental property and the potential vacancy periods that you might come with tenancies leaving the property. Loan to value. Loan to value. The loan to value ratio is a rental properties might be lower compared to the residential property. Usually it's up to 75% or less of the property value. Additionally, underwriting criteria from lenders may consider the borrower's existing rental portfolio, experience as a landlord, and the rental market conditions when assessing the viability for to finance for an investor as well.
Right.
It is crucial for all investors to consult with the financial advisor or mortgage specialist to understand the specific requirements and options available for financing rental properties within the UK. Thanks, Mike.
Thanks, Simon. And so, what are the obligations of a landlord that somebody needs to be aware of?
Yeah, actually, I prefer to call it responsibilities and to keep an eye on. It's more like obligations. The landlord has to keep the property safe and in good repair by carrying out regular repairs and maintenance, as well as ensuring that the property meets all safety standards. There is the Energy Performance Certificate, EPC. This is a rating of the property's energy efficiency, and it must be provided to new tenants before they move in. From April this year, all rental properties in England must have an EPC rating of E or above. So this means that landlords of non-new build properties may need to carry out improvements to the property to meet the new requirements. The landlords must have gas safety checks carried out every 12 months and electrical safety checks every 5 years. And these checks must be carried out by a qualified registered engineer. The landlord must protect the tenant's deposit in a government-approved scheme, which means that the deposit will be held in a safe place and will be returned to the tenant at the end of the tenancy, less any deductions that are authorized by law. And the landlord also must give the tenant a copy of how to rent checklist, which contains important information about the tenant's rights and responsibilities. The government is currently considering changes to the law on evictions, which could make it more difficult for landlords to evict tenants. This is something that the landlords will need to keep an eye on. Under current law, the landlords can evict tenants without giving a reason. It's known as no-fault eviction. However, the government is considering banning no-fault evictions, which would make it more difficult for landlords to get rid of tenants who are not breaking the terms of their tenancy agreement. And at the end, the landlord should respect tenant privacy. They shouldn't enter the property without the tenant's permission, except in certain circumstances, such as to carry out emergency repairs. Thank you.
Great. Thank you, Haifa. And so, what are the predictions for house price growth over the next 5 years? Appreciating you don't have a crystal ball.
Unfortunately, Mike, it's not that rosy at the moment. The UK is currently witnessing I wouldn't say a price drop, but I'd say a price correction in house prices. But this will start to recover by 2024. And we predict that we should see an increase of around about 7% capital growth by 2026. So it's not all doom and gloom, but as I said, we're in quite a tough spot at the moment with interest rates being at 5.25%, but a significant increase of 7% in 2026. So it's probably a great opportunity now to buy a property and hold on to it and see that growth come through by 2026. However, for the UK-wide rental market, it's seen a significant increase over the last couple of years due to COVID and other economic reasons. So what we're seeing is a stable growth of rental prices are around about 3 and 4% from 2023 to 2026. Thank you, Mike.
Thank you, Simon. It's very good to hear. And so, Haifa, can you give our viewers tips on dealing with any rental void periods?
Sure. First, we have to get the property ready for rental as soon as possible, as soon as the landlord is ready. This means carrying out any necessary repairs on maintenance and making sure, of course, that the property is clean and tidy and appealing. Second, marketing the property widely, using a variety of channels to market the property, such as online listings, local agents and local newspapers, and sometimes word of mouth would work. The landlords should be flexible more with the rental terms. So if the landlord is willing to be flexible with his rental terms, such as offering a shorter tenancy or a lower rent, it more be likely to find a tenant sooner. And we have to be prepared to wait. So it may take some time to find a tenant. So patient is our key. Thank you, Mike.
Thank you, Haifa. And so that brings us to the end of our topic. So I'll perhaps talk a little bit about Nomo and who we are. So we're the first digital Islamic bank in the UK. And we're based in London and regulated in the UK, and specifically set up to serve clients based in the Middle East. We are a Sharia compliant bank, so all of our products are Sharia compliant. And we say on here that we help clients based in Kuwait. We're also helping clients in other countries such as the UAE. And specifically in terms of Nomo Property Finance, we are able to help customers buy properties in England and Wales, so not Scotland or Northern Ireland at the moment, and that would be as an investment opportunity, as we've been talking about today, or as a second home or a vacation home, or a home for students, for parents if you want to buy a property for your children to live in whilst they study here. So our application process is very easy and digital. You can do it all in the Nomo app on your phone, and you don't need a credit footprint in the UK. You just need a Nomo current account to get started. We do, as I say, rental and residential property financing, which we do up to 75% FTV, which is the 75% financing versus the value of the property for residential finance, or we do up to 70% for rental properties, investment properties. And so just to move on to then how it works. So as I said, it's all based in the app. You can submit your application in the app, you can track how it's progressing, and then when you've ultimately completed, you're able to see the details of your finance agreement and how you're progressing through your payments over the term of the agreement. We operate a Islamic banking model called Commodity Murabaha, in which we are facilitating the sale of metal commodities. And we apply a profit rate, which you can see on our website of what our rates are at the moment. So just to mention that our rental property financing for investment properties is profit only. So this is a structure where you would pay the profit over the period of the agreement, and then you pay the finance amount, all of the finance amount at the end. And then on our residential property finance, this is amortizing. So your monthly payment will be a mixture of repaying the original finance amount and also the profit payments. And so at the end of the agreement, once you've paid your final payment, you'll have nothing outstanding. And so just some terms just to be aware of, we do have a minimum property value. So this is £350,000 for a residential property, or £250,000 for a rental or investment property. Applicants must be 18 or over. It's only England and Wales at the moment. And then mentioned that 75% for residential, 70% for rental. We do have a minimum repayment period of 5 years for both our rental and residential properties. And we go up to a maximum of 25 years for residential and 10 years for rental. And I just want to say there as well, so your property may be at risk if you do not keep up the repayments on your Nomo Property Finance. And if you want to find any more about Nomo Property Finance, you can visit our website, which is nomobank.com/property finance. And then that's it. So I just want to thank you, Haifa and Simon. Thank you for your expertise and sharing your thoughts with us today. That's been really, really useful. Hopefully, everybody on the call has found that as useful as I have. If you do have any questions for us or you want to get in contact, it is propertyfinance@nomo.bank.
Thank you, Mike.
Thank you, Mike.
Thank you very much, everyone.